Tennessee Volunteers improved to 2-0 with a historic 72-17 victory over ETSU, and there was a lot to say about this one, a lot to get into, and I get it. You beat up on an inferior opponent, but that does not mean there's a lot of really great things to take away from today's performance. Welcome into Tennessee Football Talk, everybody. My name is Joey Petersen. So happy to be with you guys. Just remember, this is your go-to place for anything you could want regarding your Tennessee Volunteers. Daily coverage right here on Tennessee Football Talk, all 100% free. So if you have not joined us yet, make sure you subscribe and join us today. My first thing I want to talk about is Mike Matthews. How about him making that big play on that deep ball from Joey Aguilar? And if I'm being honest, that's really all I've wanted to see from Mike Matthews since this season started. We didn't quite get that in the Syracuse game. Took a little bit to get into it today. But he did what we all expect five-star receivers to do. He went up and got a ball that was his. I don't know if it was intended for Matthews. I don't know if it was intended for Travis Smith Jr. But regardless, he went up for it and he came down with it and he made a play. We all knew that if this offense was going to be anything special this year, the wide receiver room had to step up. And that was a wide receiver room that didn't just lose people to the draft and to a lack of eligibility, but they also lost a lot of people to the transfer portal. And I get it. I had mixed opinions as Squirrel White, okay? I had mixed opinions with Chaz Nimrod as well. But those were guys that had experience in this offense. Mike Matthews a year ago, 7 catches, 90 yards only. He eclipsed that in today's game alone. Again, he did what we've expected him to do ever since the day he committed, and I want him to continue to stack those good days and continue to stack those good performances. A big reason why he was able to do what he was able to do is because the man, the fireman himself, Joey Aguilar, kept putting it on the money all day long. I continue just to be really, really impressed with how Joey Aguilar continues to run this offense, okay? Obviously, the numbers are one thing. He was 23 for 31 today, 288 yards, 9.3 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns through the air. And look, that's great. But it is ETSU at the end of the day, okay? So I'm not going to put too much weight into the numbers themselves. What I loved, okay, and what I was looking for and what I'd been looking for since training camp started, since he got the starting nod, was a guy who could come in here and run this offense the way that we saw Hendon Hooker run this offense, okay? He's efficient. He's on time. He makes the correct throws. He goes through his progression, and he also seems to kind of hit every single throw on the money. Loved that deep corner route to Chris Brazzell. Loved really everything I saw from Joey today. I continue to be extremely impressed with him. And man, good for him. Got to make his home debut in front of All Nation in Neyland Stadium. His mom was emotional. His grandma was emotional. And I'll tell you this, if he continues to play like this and takes down Georgia next week, I'll be just as emotional as his parents were. My third takeaway today, we got to talk about Boo Carter. Man, he was absolutely electric out there on special teams, and he showed exactly why Tennessee was willing to go through the trouble that it was over this offseason to make sure that he stays on this team, make sure that he stays on this roster, okay? Boo Carter, say what you want about him, say what you want about his mom, okay? He is a special talent. He's a special athlete. And when he gets the ball in his hands, whether it's on a punt return or whether they decide to throw him in there on offense in the slot, whatever it is, if he has the ball in his hands, he can make something special happen with it. Almost had 2 punt return touchdowns today. I believe he had 3 returns total, 94 yards on special teams. 4 returns, 94 yards, 23.4 average for him. The guy's a really special player, and I think the longer we go into the season, the more and more trust Heupel is going to give him, and the more and more of a leash he's going to have, whether it's within the special teams unit, because as we saw last week, he wasn't back there returning punts, whether it's on defense or whether it's even giving him just an opportunity to throw a little wrinkle out there on offense as well. Was extremely impressed with what the offensive line was able to do today. Obviously, no David Sanders. I'll talk about that in just a second, but man, this offensive line just continues to be violent up there and run blocking, open up holes for guys like Star Thomas, Deshaun Bishop, Peyton Lewis to make plays in. But they also seem to just give Joey Aguilar a ton of time in the pocket. Now, things are going to be different next week against Georgia. That's obvious, right? You will not be playing the same guys next week as you do today. But if you can continue to give him a little bit of time that he can go through his progressions and make the right throws, you're going to be able to move the football football down the field. Now, let's talk about David Sanders, okay? Second straight game that he was ruled out for, second straight game that he wasn't playing in. And I get what they're doing, right? Last week when it came out that he wasn't playing against Syracuse, he said a little bit of banged up in practice. I don't think it was really anything to be that nervous about, be that worried for. But I will say this. I believe they're keeping him out just to make sure that he's 100% healthy, or at least as healthy as he can be by the time Georgia comes into town next Saturday. With that being said, it scares me a ton that the first game this true freshman might play. I don't care how many stars he was. I don't care how talented, how big he is. It does scare me a little bit that the first game that David Sanders is going to play is against Georgia. Is against a Kirby Smart coach team, a Kirby Smart coach defensive line. Is against that talent on the defensive line that we all know that Georgia has. Okay? I trust in David Sanders. I believe he's going to be a stud. But if it's your first game ever in college football and you're playing against Georgia, that gives me a little bit of pause, I will say. Okay, so no Sanders again today. It's not confirmed that he's even going to be back next week. I'm just assuming that they kept him out of this week just to make sure he was as healthy as he can be for next week's game against the Georgia Bulldogs. Red zone scoring continues to impress me as well. They were, 14 for 14? Actually, they ended 15 for 15 over these last two games scoring in the red zone. That's a massive stat, okay? Just being able to convert and turn those possessions into points when you're in that red area is what separates a really good team and a really good offense from a great offense, okay? And so far, this team has been able to do that. And again, I say all of this, and I know who you got next on your schedule, and I know who you play today. But from everything we've seen so far, this is what I'm going off of. This is what I'm talking about. Anytime they get into the red area, they're able to score. They're able to put points on the board. Real quick, we're about a little bit over halfway through my takeaways. If you guys have not yet and you're still watching, make sure you like the video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And also, if you want to go ahead and give me a follow on Twitter, you can find my in the comment section down below. I'm going to have the link to my Twitter account in the comments and description, so just click on that and go ahead and throw me a follow over there. Next on my takeaways, I was really, really impressed with what I saw from a couple of freshmen. Ra Jackson made some really, really good catches, most notably that what looked like a 5-10 yard and in, or a little bit of a post maybe, that was thrown a little bit behind his body. He was able to jump up, make a catch, make a play, and come down with it. Also, I was really, really impressed, additionally, what I saw from Dwayne Morris. He just looked really, really good. He looked shifty. He looked fast. He was able, obviously, to punch the ball in the end zone there as well to put that score to 72 and break the record for Tennessee points in a game. But, man, I love the freshmen getting show out. This is their time. They're not going to be able to play these late minutes against these next couple of teams they're going to play, especially not next weekend, not when you get an SEC play most likely. And so take advantage of the reps that you're given and go out there and put on a show and show these guys and the coaching staff and show us fans something that we can be excited about for the next couple of years to come. I got to touch on a little bit Josh Heupel's halftime interview. I just loved when you're up, I believe at halftime it was 48-7, and he's being asked about the performance, and he just talks about how sloppy they looked. Got a little bit of Nick Saban in there. And I absolutely love it. Dude's a freak. Dude is sounds like a killer. You know, you're up 48-7. I get it. It's against ETSU, but to just talk about how sloppy some of those plays were. Obviously, the botch snap, Joey Aguilar didn't pick up the fumble. That led to a late touchdown for ETSU. But I think that's what makes a good coach great, is when they really just focus on those things and they try to beat those things out of a team. Star Thomas continues to impress me as well. I had a lot of excitement about Star Thomas, but I think he's even exceeding the expectations I had for him. Ended the day with 12 carries, 69 yards, 3 touchdowns, 5.8 yards a carry. And what I noticed that's most different between a guy like Star Thomas and a guy like Peyton Lewis and Deshaun Bishop, who are a little bit younger. Star Thomas just shows me a ton of patience when he's running the football, okay? He's never really quick to hit a hole. He's He's always waiting until the right hole hits up, always waiting until he gets his blockers out in front of him. And that just shows you a guy who's played this game for a very long time and is going into his 5th season in college football. Okay, the patient running is something that I really, really, really liked. And now, guys, we look toward next Saturday. We look towards the University of Georgia, and you got a really, really big opportunity to get a signature win very early. Obviously, you have not beat this team since the Hail Mary to from Josh Dobbs to Juwan Jennings. You have not beat this team in 9 years. And you get them in your home. And you get them early. And you get them when your team is relatively healthy outside of Ricky Gibson and obviously Jermon McCoy. This is a big opportunity. Georgia, at the current recording of this video, is playing Austin Peay. And when I started, I think they were up, 28-6 was their final score. Guys, that's a Georgia team that's out there making some mistakes. They just beat Austin Peay by only 22 points. This team is gettable. Obviously, Kirby's going to get them right. Kirby's going to have them focused. Kirby's going to have them ready. But can you take advantage of home field? And can you go out there, score quickly, punch them in the mouth? How you do that is you play mistake-free football, both offensively and defensively, cut down on the turnovers, and try to commit some for yourselves. That's another thing I want to say about Joey Aguilar. This interception problem that he had in college, that he had at App State, that he had at Diablo Valley, that seems to be gone. Hopefully, knock on wood. But you have a big opponent coming up, and that's where all your focus needs to be as of right now, okay? That's where my focus was after the first quarter of this game. I'm sure it's the same relatively for the coaching staff. Obviously, they had a game to finish. They had a game to win. They had a game to play. But we all knew what was coming next. We all know who was coming in the building 7 days from now, and that's the Georgia Bulldogs. Again, massive opportunity for this team to go out there, to get a signature win, to make some plays, and to beat Georgia for the first time since 2016. That's going to do it for today's show. We're going to get on out of here. If my executive producer can make her way over here. Is Applesauce over there? Okay, great. I have to show you all. I believe this is Apple's second time on the show. But she's fitted out. And thank you. And she wants to say hello. She has her Go Vols bandana on. And she is so proud of the Vols today. And she's so excited for them to take on Georgia tomorrow. Okay. Well, that's going to do it for today. And we're going to put applesauce down. We'll see you guys. We'll be back in studio tomorrow. I'll get you a video tomorrow early in the day. And, of course, we'll be here all week long for daily coverage. If you haven't yet and you're still watching, hit that subscribe button.